Good morning. One of the greatest principles to live by in creating a successful life is to never forget the sacredness of every human being. The respect with which we treat someone like a revered teacher, we need to treat the guy who takes our order at the drive-thru. The kindness we show to those we hold in high esteem, like the president of our company, we must show to the woman who cleans our hotel room. The love that we extend to those who we admire, like a political figure we work so hard to get elected, we need to extend to our neighbors and our spouses and our children, and even the person who took our parking space. We are all made in the image of God. It might be more difficult for you to see that God in your coworker who spread a rumor about you, but the Creator doesn't see any difference. The Creator sees no difference between the homeless man who sleeps on a park bench and an honored guest for whom we take out our best china. The Creator loves the drug dealer as much as the light worker. My favorite quote is, "If you cannot see God in the next person you meet, you need look no further." If you can live this one principle, your life can be a glorious success. My children are my role models of this principle, and I can share with you so many stories about both of them, but one that stands out happened when my son was 13 and in the 8th grade. In the school district where we live, when the kids are in the 8th grade, they go on their big class trip to Washington, D.C., and my son was so excited about this class trip. He and his friends were talking about it for weeks. Well, it was the night before the class trip, and all of the parents went to the school for the obligatory meeting, and they told us how much money the kids should bring and the fact that there was going to be a swimming pool and that they should bring their swim trunks. And then they gave out the room assignments. First they assigned all the girls to rooms, and then they started giving the assignments for the boys. And the first room was Asher and Teddy and Kiwan and Terrence. And I thought, well, that's odd because those are Daniel's 4 best friends. And then they said that the next room was Josh and Jacob and Deshaun and Kevin. I thought, wait a second, those are Daniel's other best friends. Well, by the time they got to the end of the list of the boys, Daniel's name was not read out. So I was about to stand up and ask the teacher what was going on, and she said, "Oh, yes, and Daniel Poneman will be in a room with Eric and Eric's personal aide." Now, Eric is a wonderful friend of Daniel's who happens to be autistic, and I could see very easily why they would put Daniel in that room, but I thought that Daniel might be really disappointed. After all, this was going to be the highlight of his young life. So as I was driving home, I was thinking, oh my gosh, what if Daniel is really sad? Maybe I could just go back and see if maybe some shifting of the rooms can take place. I really didn't know what to do. But when I got home, I went into the den and I said to Daniel, "Hey Daniel, I was just at your meeting and guess what? There's going to be a swimming pool at your hotel and you can bring your swimsuit." Oh, and they gave out the room assignments and they put you in a room with Eric and Eric's personal aide. And Daniel looks at me with this kind of odd look on his face, and I said, "What's wrong?" And he said, "Mom, they didn't put me in a room with Eric. I asked to be with Eric. I mean, Mom, you know, it's his 8th grade class trip too. And I figured that if he wasn't with me, he'd be left out." Because Daniel is who he is, people love him. They want to be around him. Opportunities come his way. Success follows this young man. And it's just so simple. The next person you see is God in human form. And the next, and the next, and the next. Just look, and I know you'll see it. And I know you will have a glorious day.
So awesome. Woohoo! Yes, he is. He takes after his parents, that's for so sure.